Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, we must give all praises, glory, and honor to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters are truly edified by this word. And the name of the lesson tonight is going to be called Be a Hearer and Doer of the Word. Otherwise, you are deceiving yourselves. That's right. Let me say it again to you, man. The name of tonight's word is going to be called Be a Hearer and Doer of the Word. Otherwise, you are deceiving yourselves. In tonight's word, man, we're going to speak about separating the live and the jive. Okay, when it comes to the gospel, of Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, what you're going to find out is who for real and who playing. You're going to find out, you either shit or get your ass off the pot. Excuse my French, but I just have to be direct and very transparent, you see, because what happens is if you are just a hearer of the word and not a doer of the word, oh man, you will be exposed, you see. And so what I want to do in this word is just show you metaphorically what it looks like if you're not a hearer and doer of the word, okay? Being a hearer and a doer of the word, that's like the perfect dance partners. You can't just be a hearer and not doer, okay? You can't be a doer and not hearer. They go together, all right? They're the perfect dance partners, you see? What you see on the screen is a young lady looking at herself in the mirror. And what you see on the screen is symbolic to what a hearer of the word is. And I'm going to show you as we get into this word. But by the end of this word, this woman is going to look at herself in the mirror and feel great about herself. What you see right now, she's looking at herself and trying to observe what it is she really sees. And we're going to use this metaphorically to differentiate the difference between a hearer and not doer. You got to do both. You got to hear the word and do the word. And if you ain't doing it like that, you are deceiving yourself, okay? We're going to come to you in James chapter 1, verse 22 through 25. And in James chapter 1, verse 22, it reads, But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only deceiving yourselves. Verse 23, For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. Verse 24, For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. And in verse 25, But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. You see that? Now, when we go back to James 1, verse 22, it says, But be ye doers of the words. In other words, you have to believe the doctrine, put it into practical use, bring forth fruit, especially bringing forth fruit tailor-made to your life, your spiritual life. And that's really your spiritual duty. That's really your spiritual position. That's what you are called to do. Okay? It says, But be ye doers of the word. And that's what doers of the word, that's what it's like. It says, and not hearers only. When you are hearer only, that means you're just listening. Okay? You're just listening. And if you do that, all you're doing is deceiving your own selves. Why? Because you heard the word and you didn't apply it. Instead, you managed to get around, you managed to avoid it, you managed to circumvent it, you see? But it's deeper than just being a hearer only. When you are a hearer only, you have a forgetful demon on you. You don't even know it, but there's a forgetful demon on you. And we're going to prove that as well. In verse 23, it says, for if any be a hearer of the word, all right, and not a doer. In other words, if you someone that's just listen to the word and not put it into practical use, he is like unto a man beholding his face, all right, beholding his natural face in a glass. In other words, if you are just a hearer of the word and not a doer, that is comparable to a man, okay, fixing his eyes upon his natural face in a mirror. Verse 24, for he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway, or in other words, and immediately forget it, or in other words, he immediately is given over to oblivion. He immediately neglects what manner of man he was. You see that? So what happens is, you see the woman on the screen. She's looking at herself right now. As a hearer of the word, she's looking at herself. But soon when she remove herself from the mirror and go her way, she immediately is given over to oblivion. She immediately is given over to neglect. In other words, she forgot what manner of woman she was. She forgot who she saw in the mirror. And that's the same thing a hearer of the word only is. Forgetful. Okay? If you just hear the word and you don't apply it, first of all, if you're a hearer of the word, that means you just listening. But once you listen and you don't put it into practical use, you're going to forget the whole part of the word that you heard. You're going to forget it. So there's no way you can be a hearer only, and there's no way you can be a doer only. Because in order for you to be a doer of the word, you got to hear it first. You got to listen to what's happening and then apply it. That's what a doing, putting it into practical use, is the doing part of the word. You see? In verse 25, it tell you, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deeds. So when you look at verse 25, in other words, what is it saying? Number one, look carefully into the perfect law. And then don't forget what you heard. Do what it said, and the Lord will bless you. That's simple. You see that? That's simple. When you operate verse 25 in its totality, if you look carefully into the perfect law, if you look carefully into the doctrine, if you look carefully into the perfect word, and don't forget what you heard, but you do what it told you to do, the Lord will bless you. You see that? That's where the hearing and the doing of the word comes together. And now when you go back to this woman looking on the screen, the woman on the screen, now understanding verse 25, once this woman looks in the mirror like she is and she walks away, she's going to remember the manner of woman she was when she was in the mirror, because she was a hearer and doer of the word. You see that? Cold-blooded, man. And that's spiritually, a lot of us is in a position where we look in the mirror, we see who we see, but as soon as we get away from that mirror, we forget who we saw. That's symbolic to a hearer only of the word. In order for you to look in that mirror, understand and see who you see, and know once you leave that mirror, you remember the manner of person you was, that's a person that's a hearer and doer of the word. But if you're a hearer of the word, you're gonna see yourself in the mirror, but as soon as you get your face out the way away of that mirror and you go on about your business, you're gonna forget. You're gonna immediately be given over to oblivion. You're gonna forget what manner you was. You see that? So that's why you can't just be a hearer. You can't just be a doer. You gotta be a hearer and doer of the word. Otherwise, you are playing yourself. Otherwise, you are deceiving yourself. You see? Now, as we get ready to close it out, what's the name of the word again? Be a hearer and doer of the word. Otherwise, you are deceiving yourself. Now, think about it once again. If you are just a hearer of the word, that means you are listening. That's all you're doing is listening. So there's no way you can do the word if all you're doing is listening. Because to also be a doer of the word, that means you have to put what you heard into practical use. You see? But you can't put something in practical use if you ain't heard what the word is talking about. You see that? Like you can't just be a doer of the word. You just can't believe the doctrine, put it into practical use, bring forth fruit when you ain't even heard what the doctrine say. Cold-blooded, man. I hope you sincere, brothers and sisters, man, were truly edified by this word, man. We give all praises, glory, and honor to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, Yahushua, man, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen, man, don't just listen to what you hear. Don't just listen to the word, man. Do the word, man, and you're going to be spiritually complete. Verse 25, I already told you, man. Look carefully into the perfect law. Don't forget what you heard. Do what it says, and the Lord gonna bless you, man. Cold-blooded, man. Word.